So the first question is, what are your initial thoughts about failure being an important and unavoidable part of your career? Now, my first thoughts while going through Unit 4 and the videos that were assigned to us to watch, as well as doing some of the reading, was that failure is an important and unavoidable part of any job. And from my personal experiences, as well as drawing from what I learned from the TED Talk titled Jia Jiang's Journey in What I Learned After Being Turned Down 100 Times, it has taught me that failure is painful, but it's necessary for growth. Now, Jiang's story shows that being turned down doesn't mean you're not good enough or you're worthless. It's just a step that makes you stronger and more brave. And this was really reassuring for me, especially having some personal issues happen recently, as well as what I've learned through my professional career. Now, I learned that the failures are not signs of not being potential or not having the potential to have a job, but it's rather the chances to learn and change the different strategies that I'm using. So after applying for internships for next summer and without getting any luck, it has given me a chance to learn to become more resilient, improve the ways that I'm applying for these jobs, and become more persistent, which I believe is important for long-term success. Second question is, which of the 3 videos in the unit module resonate the most and why? And after going through the 3 different TED Talks in Unit 4, I resonated the most with Jia Jiang's TED Talk about what I learned from 100 Days of Rejection. And that hit close to home out of all the different videos because the video really got to the fear and anger of being turned down over and over again, which is something I know too well since I keep applying for internships and I either don't hear back or I get rejections over and over again. And that's just because of how the technology market and the industry is currently with all the layoffs and just the state of the current job market. Now, Jiang's story was also inspiring because he purposefully sought out for rejection to dull the pain and the fear of failing. And this was not only inspiring, but also it was shocking. As prior to this video, I used to think that rejection was a loss, but now I see it as a chance to grow as a person, both professionally and personally. And his message pushed the idea that meeting rejection head on can make a person stronger, and you can use that fear and turn it into strength. And this is an attitude that I'm going to try to adapt as I go through the scary process of applying for internships. The third prompt is, what are some strategies you would like to try that can help you develop resiliency when dealing with mistakes? Now, there are 3 different ways that I could do this based off my own personal experiences as well as what I've learned from the TED Talk by Jia Jiang. The first way I could do that is by reframing rejection. Now, what I can do is view each rejection as a learning experience rather than a loss or a defeat that I wasn't able to get an internship. So instead of using failure and labeling it as a no in my head, I want to be able to reach to a point where I can ask my interviewers, or I can ask, for example, the HR of a company, what I can work on and ask for feedback for further interviews and reflect on what could be improved. And I can also take steps towards this. The second way I could do it is to desensitize rejection. So similar to Jiang's approach, I want to set small goals for myself and involve potential rejection in it, which could look like applying to different roles and reaching out for opportunities that may seem like they're above my current experience. But this is to build my comfort with the possibility of getting a rejection without it affecting my confidence in my own abilities. And the third way that I could do this is by celebrating the small moments and the efforts that I've put in to the applications or efforts I've put into certain tasks and not just focus on the results and the outcome. And I could do this by acknowledging the effort I put into the application packages, their interviews, and this will help reinforce that persistence is valuable. And it will encourage me to focus on the process and stay motivated throughout the time that I'm applying for these internships, for example, even when the results are not what I want, but eventually I do believe that my efforts will pay off. And I believe that these 3 strategies align with what I've learned from Jiang's journey, as well as things that I've experienced over time. And embracing the lessons of these failures will help me continue to strive for my goals with resilience, even when I'm faced with uncertainty and rejection.